Welcome to class. It's Leah. Clarity with Leah. Slow flow. We're doing it Sunday, but you can do this any day. I recommend a folded blanket or a folded towel and a yoga block if you have one. If not, a folded blanket or folded towel can suffice. And a cushion, like a big fluffy pillow. We're actually going to start laying down. So just pick a comfy position. This is really just about setting intention. So if you want to lay on your side, I know you don't, but for those at home, if you just want to like curl up into a fetal position, or if you just want to lay out flat on your back, if you have a ponytail holder in your hair and you want to move that so you can be really comfortable and really connected to the earth, do that. I'm going to close the door so the ladies out there can yammer away. Since Granny can't hear nothing, everybody has to yell at her. And we're just going to set an intention. I forgot to check the time. Oh, perfect. Right on time. So starting by just settling into the body, settling into the breath. Notice how the breath moves now. We'll check in again at the end of our practice. No forcing, no judgment. And then feel your weight on the ground. Feel that connection of your body to your mat or just the floor beneath you. Whatever direction you're laying, feel all the places where your body connects to the ground and then also to itself. Kind of just checking in with all those spots. We're playing with our sense of awareness. Move your awareness around through your body. And we're kind of establishing a connection to the body to begin our practice today. And let's set the intention to really be present today in your body, listening. Oh, jeez. I guess that's as loud as that goes. Sorry, I was trying to turn the music up. I can't hear it. I may change that. Noticing when anything comes up for you that is discomfort through your practice today, you want to look for things that don't feel bad. If something hurts, obviously we don't want to do that. But if something feels like discomfort, you might want to learn how you can process it, how you can work through that discomfort. It may be visceral as much as it is physical. So it may be something that's coming up for you emotionally through some of the movements, and maybe a combination with the music and with being in the body and things like that. So as things start to come through, allowing them to surface, making that commitment to yourself right now that you will allow whatever comes through to come through. Remembering and trusting that nothing will ever come up that you're not ready for. You just have to be ready and willing to embrace it as it comes through. And then also making that commitment to stay as present as you can. And that means that when you notice that your mind is wandering to the stuff you have to do after class, or the stuff that you did this morning, or that person that made you mad yesterday, that you will recognize that your thought patterns have left the mat, and you will bring yourself back into your body. Just allow those intentions to kind of wash over you. remembering that even though we just had our new year and it's such a great time to kind of think about what you want to do with yourself, every day is an opportunity to begin anew as well. Every day, every moment, every hour, every breath, always an opportunity to start fresh with whatever it was or is that you want for yourself. And then taking your time as you feel ready, go ahead and find a seated position. We're going to do a pranayama to start our practice. So I like to sit on a cushion because it elevates my hips and it feels better. And then I can kind of bring my feet closer together and my knees farther apart. That may not be where you're at in your practice. So just be where you're at. You can also sit like this if that feels more comfortable because the hamstrings are tight. So just find a place where it is not painful because we're going to work on our breath. Okay, so we're going to take our peace fingers, put them right into the space between the eyebrows. And then you're going to put your thumb on the outside of your right nostril and your ring finger and pinky finger on the outside of your left nostril. There you go, peace fingers. I know, this is a really uncomfortable breath, which is why I said all that about the discomfort, because it takes a lot of concentration. It focuses you to really be in the body. So if you can close your eyes, it feels nice to close your eyes, and even focusing the eye gaze to that point where you're touching your brow can be kind of nice too. And what you're going to do is you're going to close off with the ring finger and the pinky finger and inhale through the right side. Then you're going to close off the right side and open the left and exhale. Staying on that side, you'll inhale. And then close it off and switch back to the right to exhale. So you're going to alternate on the exhale. Inhale on one side. Switch sides and exhale. Then inhale again, staying on the same side. And switch for your exhale. And I'm going to just leave you in quiet contemplation and concentration with this. I forgot to make sure I had tissues in here, but that's okay. We have toilet paper. And we're just going to do this for a few minutes. So I want you to notice anywhere that you're holding tension right now. Maybe your shoulders started to creep up. I tend to grip with my alternate hand. Another option is to take your other hand and set it out on your knee with the palm facing up to kind of focus on relaxing there. See if you can't take longer inhales and longer, deeper exhales as you continue. So ending on an inhale. Before you switch sides, bring your hand down to the other knee, to the same side knee. So your hands are each on your knee. Yeah. And just keep your eyelids closed. Settle your breath in and notice how that feels. Tune into the places on your face where you connect it so you can feel almost like the imprint of your fingers between your brow. And then you can feel your nostrils. Notice how your sinuses feel. Notice how your breath feels now. Okay, now we're going to come to our all fours position. 4-point stance, and I like to use my blanket under my knees for a little extra cushion. Hold on, tea time. Make sure your fingers are nice and wide. Spread them. And then you want to kind of split that center point between your first and middle finger. Checking to see that the wrists are generally under the shoulders and the knees are generally under the hips. It can be okay if things are a little bit wider, if your hands need to be a little bit farther forward, that kind of thing. Finding the position that feels comfortable for you. Take a nice deep inhale here. Relax, soften the belly, extend through the spine. As you exhale, feel your pubic bone drawing towards your navel, tailbone reaching long behind you, navel drawing up towards the spine, and then keeping your pelvis in this position, keeping your belly firm, continuing to inhale here. Turn the elbow creases in to face each other. Notice how that feels. Pull the shoulders back away from the ears. On your next inhale, keeping your pelvis where it is, lift your head, lift your chest. As you exhale, slide the hips back towards the heels. Lower the elbows, and then bring the forehead down. Inhale, pull yourself all the way back up, checking in with the pelvis, keeping that little tilt so the pubic bone stays reaching towards the navel. Lift the head, lift the chest. Exhale, bringing the hips back down towards the heels. Elbows come down, forehead lowers. Inhale, let that core turn on to maintain the stability in the pelvis as you lift, bring up the head and chest, and exhale to slide all the way back down. Continuing here for about 2 more rounds. Listening to your breath. And then we'll settle into child's pose. When you come all the way down, find a child's pose that works for you. And if child's pose just don't work for you, that's okay too. You can sit up. Child's pose is not always comfortable for people. One thing that you can do if you feel like you can't get all the way down is you can take a cushion or a rolled up blanket, put it between your legs and lay on that. You can also take a block and put it under your forehead or a folded blanket or towel so that you have a little something to rest on. We don't want to be hovering, and this is not working. This is driving me crazy. And we'll just take a moment here and pay attention to the breath. Why? All right, forget that station. I don't understand. Play. All right, technology. It's just trying to wear me out. Whatever. We may be musicalists today. And then we're going to inhale and come all the way up to standing. Take your time. You can rock back onto your feet and inhale to come all the way up. Or you can step up one foot and then the other foot. Taking your time. When you get up here, find a place where you feel stable on your feet. So sometimes that looks for like right underneath the hips. Sometimes that looks like a little bit wider. Whatever works for you. And then notice how your posture is. I tend to kick into that lordosis where I'm in that, stick your booty out. It's cultural, okay? So as you exhale, start to pull the pubic bone up towards the navel. Your knees have to soften for that. And that takes that tailbone long. Still have a little bit of that natural curve, but it takes a lot of that arch out of the back. And notice how this feels every week now. It's like he doesn't even know I'm teaching a class. This is so great. He's probably going to ask for food. What? Yeah.
Can I go to the nearby pond?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you for asking. Notice where you're putting the weight into your feet. Do they want to sink in? There's no right or wrong here. This is about tuning into the body and noticing what's happening. Do they want to sit out? Do you put more pressure on your toes, more pressure on your heels? Now we're going to do our arm float, where we stop halfway with one arm and the other arm comes all the way up. And we're going to add the lift onto the toes or just a forward shift. So you're going to take your weight from wherever it is to over your toes on your inhale. Inhale, exhale to prepare. Then on your next inhale, we're going to come up on our toes or just shift your weight forward, float your arms out, stop with the right arm, let the left arm go all the way up. Exhale, float the left arm down, picks up the right arm all the way back down. Very nice. Now we're going to switch sides. Inhale, coming up. Left arm stops, right arm keeps going. And exhale, bring it down. Inhaling up. So the arms start out together, then one stops and the other one keeps going. Yeah, so this is a little bit different than how we do it sometimes. And another thing that you can add here is to bring your hands into your peripheral vision so you can see them and then kind of play with it a little bit. So I can almost see my whole arm. So maybe I can go out a little bit farther and still see it. This is exercise for the eyes, yeah? Exhale down. Inhale, switch sides. Noticing, can you see your hands? While still looking straight ahead. And we're going to do one more time each side. Inhale, lifting, maybe coming up onto your toes. Maybe you just shift your weight forward. Either way is fine. And then pause here. Notice how that feels. You can close your eyes if that's something that you're okay with standing, or you can look down. So when you look down, you tell the body it's time to tune inward. Notice how the arms feel. And then we're going to do both arms. So inhale, coming all the way up. And we're going to sigh on our exhale. So, oh, that's good. Inhale all the way up. Inhale, last one. Still looking for your hands. And then notice how you feel. Notice how your feet feel, how your ankles feel. Noticing whether your spine has gone back into that position. If you go into lordosis or if you happen to hunch or whatever it is that's your go-to position, you'll naturally start to go back to it. Just because that's your normal doesn't mean that's where you're supposed to be. All right, now We're going to step our feet wide for warrior. So that's however you want to do it. You can stay on the floor, or you can turn sideways, whatever feels better for you. And we're going to take right toes turned out first, and making sure that the hips stay nice and open here. The other foot would be a little bit, they should be perpendicular, if you can remember. What is that? 9th grade geometry? I don't know. Maybe they learn that in younger now. I don't know. It's a T, perpendicular, right angle. So the heel is lined up with the arch of the back foot. And we're going to inhale, soften the front knee, and float the arms out. We're going to do that same thing again. So the front arm is going to float all the way up while the back arm stops. Exhale, we're going to float both arms down and straighten the leg. Now the same leg is going to bend, but the arms are going to switch. So inhale, float it out, front arm stops, back arm comes up. Exhale, back arm picks up front arm and down. Very good. Inhale, front arm is going to come all the way up. Exhale, down. And now the back arm. One more time with each side. And exhale. And the back arm. And exhale. Now we're going to do both arms all the way out to a T and then back down. Both arms all the way out to a T and then back down. Last one. And then back down. And we'll turn to face the front and pause. So if you can, close your eyes. Close your eyes. If not, just look down. And all I mean by that is sometimes closing your eyes while standing up can make you feel a little bit dizzy. Makes me feel dizzy. So I just like to look down. Notice where your pelvis is. Notice how your hip joints feel. Notice the knees, the shoulders, and the breath. Noticing if you can feel the weight and the prana moving through your fingers. And then let's switch sides. I'm so annoyed by the music not working. I swear, technology is like, whatever. It's always a thing. Okay, so did we start with the front arm going all the way first? We're going to do that again. Making sure the hips are nice and wide, feet are lined up. And on your next inhale, soften the front knee, float the arms out. Front arm will go all the way. And exhale to bring it down, straighten the leg. Switching arms. Back arm can go all the way up. And exhale all the way down. Back to the front arm. Whatever. I can't tell if it's the speaker or if it's the tablet. Exhale down. Inhale, last round. So we're going to do front arm and then back arm. Then we'll do 3 with both arms. Remembering to make it floaty like water. So good for the nervous system. And exhaling down. Turn your feet back to the front. And pause here. Noticing any sensations that are coming up in the body. Noticing how the breath feels. And now we're going to go back to the first side again. And we'll just get into our warrior two. So inhale, arms come up and stop here. Tune into where your body is. So your knee doesn't need to be super bent. Just a little bit is fine. Take a look down, and you want to make sure that the knee is tracking over the center toe, because this whole leg package here is not going to move. We're going to move the upper half of the body, kind of do some lateral work. So you may need to press your knee open and out to get it to go over the middle toes. Just noticing that. And then taking that back leg and making an effort to press the outside edge of the foot down, and notice how that changes what muscles you use in the back leg. On your next inhale, you're going to drop the back arm down, reach the front arm towards the ceiling. Exhale, we're going to bring the front arm all the way down to the knee and bring the back arm all the way up to the ceiling. Inhaling back to our reverse. Exhale to the front. Take long breaths here. Inhale. And you might want to reach a little farther. And exhale. But I wouldn't go past the opposite shoulder. Just keep it nice and small. Inhale up. And exhale over. Checking in with the legs, making sure they're not moving. And exhale over. On the next inhale, we'll hold in our reverse position. Inhale. And stay here. As you exhale, you can soften a little bit. Noticing how the legs are doing. Inhaling to reach. Exhaling to soften. One more. And then exhale, rotate back down to our little side angle. And we'll stay here. On your inhale, reach. And exhale, soften. Inhale, press that outside of the back foot all the way to the fingertips. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And on your next inhale, coming back up to warrior two. T-arms. Exhale all the way back to the center. Ooh, that was a good one. Taking a nice pause here. Notice how your legs are feeling. Notice what muscles got really activated. You can feel the energy moving through. Maybe you can start to feel some heat developing in the core. And then we'll turn the other foot out. Again, setting up first, noticing that hips are open, heel is lined up, and then we're going to inhale into our posture. And hold here so that you can check in. So look down at your knee. So right now I can tell you my knee is going over my big toe. So what I need to do is press the knee out. And what that's going to do is it's going to take the weight to the outside edge of the front foot. And it also tightens the glutes and the outside of the quad. So it feels like you're taking your quad and wrapping it back around and into the glute. Then you're going to take your back foot and press into that outside edge of that foot. And notice how it turns on the muscles in the glutes on that side. And then, of course, we intend to keep this leg package where it's at. Fully aware that it probably will not stay. On your next inhale, drop the back arm, reach for the ceiling. And exhale, rotate all the way around to the front. Reach for the ceiling first. We'll come and reach across the body a little bit after a couple rounds. Inhale and exhale. Now if you feel like you want to reach a little bit farther, take it just maybe to the other shoulder. And exhaling back to the front without putting any weight on that front arm. noticing the little pause that naturally happens at the top of the inhale. Last round, and then we're going to hold. Inhale into your reverse warrior. And pause here. Just for 3 breaths. Last one, inhale. And exhale, rotate to across the body. Hold here. Inhaling. Last breath. Then we inhale here. No, we don't. Inhale back up. And exhale back down. And we'll bring our feet together for our pause. Noticing how the difference is after all that time with your legs apart, you'll notice the sensation in the abductors and the adductors. Checking in with the pelvis. Notice the hip joints and the shoulder joints. Noticing how the spine feels. And then we're going to take our hands and place them on our hip points here. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, slide the hands down the front of the legs all the way to the ankles. So bend the knees if you need to get all the way down there. Inhale, lengthen out through the spine and slide the hands back up. Then you're going to go to the outsides of the legs. Exhaling all the way down. Again, bend the knees if you need to get to the ankle. And inhale to come all the way back up. And then to your booty and down the back of your leg. Exhale all the way down. And inhale, lengthen out through the spine to come all the way back up. And then staying on the back, we're going to come back to the front slowly. So exhale down over the booty, backs of the legs. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, sides of the legs. Inhale, lengthen and lift. And exhale down the front. Inhale, lengthen and lift. And then pause. Let your hands hang heavy at your side, noticing how your palms and your fingers feel. Noticing the legs. Feels like hot yoga in here today. Gets warm in here with the sun. Okay, we're going to come back down to all fours again. Again, the option here to use a blanket. You can put it under your knees, or if your wrists get sore, you could even put it under your wrists. That can be very nice and helpful. Tea time. So finding your strong position. Spread the fingers wide. Generally speaking, wrists under shoulders, hips over knees, finding that little pull of the pubic bone towards the navel to take everything into alignment. That's going to be super important for this next flow, because you really want to make sure that your hips and your sacrum aren't going to shift a whole lot here. So you're not looking for distance. We're not looking for height. We're looking for stability in the pelvis. So inhale. Exhale, gather that belly, pull the navel up, pubic bone draws in, tailbone is long, rib cage closes. On your next inhale, shifting your weight to your left hand, bring your right hand out and take your left leg out behind you. You can either keep the toes on the ground or lift the leg slightly. As you exhale, bring them both back down and lower the hips, lower the head. Inhale, we're going to come back up again. And switch sides. So shift your weight to your right hand, left hand will come out, right foot will come out. Exhale, bring the knee back in and lower all the way down. Inhale, check in with the pelvis, making sure that you're not tilting from one side to the other. Right arm, left leg. Exhale, back down. Inhale, lifting back up. Left arm, right leg. And exhaling back down. Very nice. Now we're going to hold. So inhale to come up. Lift the right arm and the left leg. Now, option here to take the toes down to the ground if it's too much for you. Make sure you're pulling up through the navel and check in with your pelvis, making sure you're not hiking up like a dog peeing on a tree or falling down. Don't want to fall down either. Taking nice deep inhales, reach through the fingers and the heel. Belly is still pulling up towards the spine. One more breath. And exhale, bring it all the way back down. Inhaling all the way back up. Switch sides and we'll hold. Reaching from the heel to the fingers. Here's that balance thing again. Last one. Inhale here. And exhale all the way down. We'll take a pause in our child's pose. So just find what's comfortable for you. And if child's pose again is not comfortable, feel free to take a seated posture. Now we're going to come down to lay on our belly. So if you're using a blanket, I would suggest moving it out of the way unless you need it underneath your hip points, which would be for kind of extreme back pain. And what we're going to do here is take a little bit of space between the feet. So noticing where your feet are and then maybe taking them a little bit wider. And you can kind of laterally rotate them. So the inside of the foot is more down and the outside of the foot is more up instead of having them flat down. Does that make sense? Lateral rotate. So you turn your toes out. Yeah, you don't have to. It's an option. Some people, it's easier because they kick into this. Yeah. So they kick into a different booty muscle. Then holding them flat can be really hard, especially when they're wide. So we're going to, a block can be a nice option here for underneath your forehead. Or a folded blanket can be more comfortable as well. And we're going to take our hands and put them down by the hips, palms facing up. Well, then I guess it was the tablet that's not working. I guess the speaker apparently was working fine. Piece of crap. On your inhale, you're going to lift your head, lift your chest, bring your right arm around. So we've got lots of room in here today. So we're going to reach all the way up and more of at an angle than forward. So towards the front corner of the mat. And exhale, bring it all the way around and back down. We're doing flying squirrel. Inhale, left arm will come all the way around and reach towards the corner. And then exhale all the way back down. Back to the right. And exhale. Left. One more time. Each side. And they're coming just out to the corner. So like V arms. And then the left. Exhaling down. Take a little pause here. Notice how the spine feels. Okay, now we're going to add the legs. It's always optional to add the legs. If you have a lot of low back pain, this can be very contraindicated. It's not going to feel good. So if that's where you're at, don't add the legs. If you're at a place where legs feels like a good idea, we're going to be opposite legs. So inhale, lift the head, lift the chest. Right arm, left leg. And we're pointing out to the corners of the mat. Exhaling down. Switch sides. Inhale, left arm, right leg. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. One more time each side. And then we're going to do both. Exhale down. That's fun. Left hand, right leg. Exhale down. And now bring both arms out. Both legs up. Inhale. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. So nice. Now we're going to hold it. Inhale, lift. Here you can exhale and kind of soften a little bit. And inhale, lift. Last one. Flying squirrel. And exhale all the way down. Find a comfortable position. Maybe you want to take your arms and cross them underneath your forehead. And we'll take a few breaths here. Honor your spine, the erector spinae muscles that work so hard. Your low back. Maybe you even want to rock your hips a little bit here if that feels nice. And then we're going to flip over. So, I don't know why. I have to flip all the way over. I could just spin right where I'm at, but this just is what I'm used to. This is what I do. And when you come onto your back, go ahead and bring your knees up for Apanasana and take a couple breaths here with whatever works for you. So I like to inhale, take my knees away, make space, and exhale, draw the knees in. If it feels good to you to just kind of squeeze your knees to your chest and do some rocking from side to side, feel free to do that. Got almost all my Christmas stuff put away. And now just the tree is left. My mom still sits there and says, somebody did a really good job on that tree. I love it. It makes me not want to put it away. Okay, so now let's take our hands out to our side. We're just going to do some gentle twists here. So keep your knees up, and you can put your feet whatever feels good. So I'm going to keep my feet down, but if it feels better to you to pull them up so that your knees or your feet, your legs are in a 90-degree angle, you can do that. I'm just going to keep my feet down. And inhale to let the knees go over to the left. Exhale, draw the belly in to pull them back to center. Inhale to knees to right. Exhale, draw them back to center. Now tuning into your shoulders, making sure that as you inhale, you're not losing the connection of your shoulders to the mat or the floor. Flow with your breath here. Opening, make space as you inhale into the twist. Exhale, firm through the belly to bring the knees back to center. When you come to the first side that you did, go ahead and let them fall as far as they will. Comfortably go with your shoulders staying in contact with the mat. If you need to prop your knees up, you could grab a cushion or a rolled up blanket or towel or a block and let your knees rest on that. That would be fine. On your next exhale, draw the knees back through center. And inhale to the other side. At least we can hear the diffuser. And on your next exhale, knees back to center. And then finding maybe a couple of opening, closing Apanasanas. If you feel like you need that on your low back. If not, you can just set your feet down and take a little pause. Go ahead and set your feet up for bridge, two-legged table. And this can be whatever works for you. Hips in line or heels in line with your hips is nice. Making sure that there's enough space between your heels and your hips, about your own foot's distance. Hands we're going to bring down by our sides, palms face down, reach for the toes. An option here would also be to take your feet a little bit wider. Sometimes that feels easier. Or a little bit farther away from the body. That'll make it a little bit more pressure on the knees, but sometimes it's easier for people to move that way. So play around with it. This is an opportunity to get to know your body and what works for you. And I invite you to try the different ways. Even if you think you know what works best for you, try something different and see how it feels. And then if it's not working, you go back to what you know works. That's always fun to do too. So we're going to do the exact same arm floaty thing that we've been doing this whole time and float them both up. One stops halfway, the other one goes all the way. So on your next inhale, press the feet down, lift the hips, float the arms up. Left arm can stop and right arm can keep going till the back of the right hand touches the floor behind your head. And exhale, right hand comes down. Picks up the left hand, brings them both back down as you lower your hips. Inhale, we'll switch arms, lift the hips. Right arm stays as left arm goes. Exhale, left hand will come pick up the right hand and roll down the spine, bringing the hips down. Inhale, press and lift. Maybe you want to try to lift your hips a little higher on this one. Maybe not. Exhale, float back down. Inhale, press and lift, left arm goes back. Exhale. Inhale, this will be our last round with alternating arms. Inhale, left arm goes back. And then we're going to take a short pause before we do both arms at the same time. So noticing where your feet were, how did that feel? Do you want to try adjusting? Noticing how the legs feel, what muscles were activated, noticing how the belly feels. Of course, the shoulders, the hands. And then just generally feeling all of that prana moving through your body. Now we're going to float both hands at the same time. We'll do a few rounds and then we're going to hold the posture for our inversion today. So on your next inhale, press the feet down, lift the hips, float both hands up. Exhale, lower the hips, float both arms down. Inhale, float up. Exhale, roll it down. Inhale, float the hands up, lift the hips, and go ahead and lay your arms down. We're going to hold here. As you inhale, press and lift the hips maybe a little bit higher. As you exhale, soften. Notice how the chest lifts towards the chin. As you breathe through your throat, you might sound a little bit like Darth Vader. That's a good thing. And on your next exhale, float the arms back down slowly, one vertebrae at a time, lowering the spine down to the hips. Bring the knees up and finding whatever movement feels right for you. You could be rocking, making circles. If you're doing circles, make sure you go both directions. And then we're going to place our feet back down and take a very short pause before Shavasana. I want you to take a moment and feel the effect of that bridge. When we have our arms up over our head like that, it creates a similar effect to the inversion. So it can help drain the lymphatic system, stabilize the blood pressure in the nervous system. Of course, all the things that yoga is generally good about doing for you. And then we'll set up for Shavasana. So whatever that looks like for you, that could look like right here. And you just take your feet apart and let your knees fall together. And that's fine. If you want to straighten your legs, let's see how that feels. I invite you to turn your palms up wherever you are. If that's strain on your shoulders, don't do that. Maybe you want to take a nice cushion up under the knees. Or a little rolled up blanket up under the back of the neck to take the pressure off. Just whatever feels right. I am going to sit. And then I'm going to try one more time with the music. So just pray the music is working.
Power on. Bluetooth pairing.
Because it would be great to have our relaxation music. That would be great.
Bluetooth connected.
That would be fantastic. Let's see. Yay. Okay. The technology gods have shined upon us for our final relaxation. Of course, that was the wrong channel. Okay. So at the beginning of our practice, we took that moment to notice how the body felt. I'd like to invite you to do that again now. Beginning with feeling your weight on the floor, noticing all the places where you connect. Really tuning in to the body. And then bring your awareness into your breath. Notice how it moves now. Maybe nothing has changed. Maybe it just feels a little softer, a little easier to be with. And then I want you to try to feel the body's energy flow. Maybe you can only feel it in your head and your shoulders and your arms. Maybe you can only feel it across your front line. Maybe you feel it in your hands and your feet. Maybe you can bring that sense of awareness to the entire body all at the same time. This is that feeling of being alive, presence, awareness, and while our bodies, our physical bodies, are only the beginning of the story of what we are, it's through the body that we find our connection to all the other things, to our emotions, to our thoughts, to our connection to something higher than ourselves, something greater that we're all a part of. So we're just going to take a couple minutes and listen to the breath, listen to the music, listen to the sounds in the environment, and feel through the body. Taking a deep inhale and exhale completely. Allow a feeling of gratitude to wash over you. Gratitude for your body exactly the way it is right now. Everything it does for you every day. The opportunity that it presents when we choose to connect through our body. And remembering that we don't have control over anything in our lives except our breath. No matter what is going on around you, you can always choose to turn inward and take a deep breath. And slowly taking your time, you can wiggle your fingers and toes And allow yourself to take some movement, some stretching, whatever feels good. Take your time to maybe roll onto your side or inhale into a seated position. Rock it on up. Thank you so much. Satnam. Namaste. All the things. I hope Tracy feels better. Bless her heart. Thank you for coming. Have a great day. Bye.